and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and I'm currently on a debt-free journey to repay 6 figures worth of student loan debt. So today I will be sharing my monthly budget reconciliation video. The first time I did this video was actually last month, and I'm going to try to post these every single month because I think it's helpful to see kind of the differences and how budgets can change. So I will link up my February budget if you have not watched it already. This is actually quite an interesting video to me because our budget did change quite a bit due to a bunch of different things that I will discuss as we go through this video. So if you have not watched that video, I will link it and please go watch it, and then this video will make a little bit more sense. So first category here is the income source. So I'm just gonna write our W-2 income. So this is between my husband and I. We both work full time. We both get paid bi-weekly. So our budget was $5,800 in the video. Our actual is $6,200. So a couple things happened in February that I did not know about, I did not know for sure that were going to be happening in January when I filmed that video. So my husband did get a small raise, and so his income did change a little bit, as well as we had changed around some of our deductions for annual enrollment. So just our salary, and then also we had, I think, changed a couple of our tax forms, I think on my husband's side, because they had it incorrect. Anyway, so our budget did get updated a little bit, so we did bring home a little bit more. So we did bring home $6,200. I do round off these numbers just for ease of writing, and also we do typically budget based off of rounded numbers just so we keep a buffer in our checking account. So as you can see, they will just be rounded off, but these are our real numbers. So we did have an additional income of $400 from that. We did also get credit card rewards. So if you have been following me for a little while, or if you follow me on Instagram, we redid our flooring in our home I think it was in January now. When was it? It was in February, January. I don't remember. A few weeks ago at this point. We had redone our floors, and so we had used one of our credit cards. We have 2 credit cards. If you're curious about that, we do have 2 credit cards. We have one credit card that we use for our daily expenses that we pay off every single week. And we also have a credit card that we use typically with our sinking funds. So I like to keep them separate because that way I know, like, when we have money on that other card, that is coming from our sinking funds, and it just makes it mentally easier for me. We do pay off our credit cards at least every single month. I typically do make payments weekly on our credit cards just so that it doesn't carry a balance at all. So anyways, long story short, that is a cashback rewards card that we use for our sinking funds. So we did get $20 cash back. I do typically take that cash back in the form of a bank deposit because we do pay it off so quickly. So even though we paid for the floors in January, we didn't actually get the rewards until February. And at that point, the card has a 0 balance. So we did just get it in the form of like a check to our direct deposit. So we were not necessarily anticipating that income. We knew it was coming, but we didn't know when. So I never put it in our budget if it's not like a for sure thing. So that was an additional $20. And then we did have some side hustle income. If you watched my January debt video, then you'll see we actually had $157 towards our side hustle income. I never consider side hustle income when I do our budget because that is always just an additional income that we bring in. So as you can see, we did have quite a bit of additional income. So that brings our total income to $6,377. So that is what we are working with for the month of February. So then I'm just going to go through each category and what we had budgeted, what our actual was, what the difference was, and then the percentage of our income. I enjoy doing this percentage of income category because it kind of helps me reflect on the month and just figure out, like, are these matching with what our goals are? So if we spent, 50% of our income on Amazon, that would not be in line with what our financial goals are for now or in the future. So it just kind of helps me have a reflecting point at the end of every month and just make sure that we are staying on track throughout the year. So first category is mortgage. We budgeted $1,254. Our actual was $1,254. 0 difference. Percentage of our income is 19.7%. So I'm happy with that. We did choose a mortgage or a home that was well within our price range. That was something that was important to us when we were buying our home, so that has always felt like a good amount. Our cell phones, $140, those are pretty stable at $140. That is 2.2% of our income. Then Netflix, I think this might be going up. I don't know. I heard it was going up and then ours didn't go up, so it was still 14 for us. Not sure if that was for everyone or what, but I heard some people in the community talking about like their Netflix going up, but ours did not go up yet. Maybe next month, I don't know. So Netflix was 14. Peloton, we do have a Peloton bike. That is $41.41. Most of these fixed expenses don't really change very much, so that was 0.6% of our income this month. And then we have our internet. Again, this is one of those that are stable at 60. We do only have internet. We stream for TV like we do Netflix, and we also have Hulu. Hulu is paid for through my cell phone. Actually, I have Sprint, and my plan has free Hulu, so that we actually don't pay for, which is cool. We also have Disney Plus that we pay for annually in November, so that is why you're not seeing those monthly. Then something else we have this month was my car registration, which is an annual expense for us. So that was $85. We do just cash flow. A lot of these smaller annual bills, we just cash flow because we do have a lot more flexibility in our budget now that we've paid off a lot of debt. So we definitely used to do sinking funds for some of these smaller ones, but now we just kind of cash flow them as they come up. So that is car registration. And then our water bill, which is quarterly, so we don't have this every single month, and our electric. So budget for the water bill, these are always, so water bill and electric for us are always very variable. We live in the Midwest, and especially since we've been home, our bills have kind of just been like all over the place. So our water bill has actually been higher than ever. I'm assuming because we've pretty much been home all the time. So we're definitely using a lot more water. My son loves to take like hour-long showers. Okay, so our actual water bill was $249. So that was actually higher by $24, which is fine. And then that was 3.9%. So again, that is a quarterly expense that we used to have a sinking fund for that we no longer do because we are able to just cash flow these things easier now that we have more flexibility. So that is fine. And then our electric was actually lower. So I'm baffled by this because it has been so cold, but our electric bill was only $192, which is low for us at this point of the year. I'm not going to question it because, you know, I don't want to know why it's lower. I only care when it's higher. So that was 3%. So these kind of washed each other out, which I was happy about. You know, we did end up making out a little bit on this electric bill, which I was super happy about. But now I'm a little nervous for the next month because I feel like it's going to be crazy in March. So then we have, let's see, spending here. This is just for my husband and I. We each get personal spending money that we put in our own personal checking accounts. So that was $100. That does not change. And oh wait, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I actually only took 25 of my spending this month because I wanted to put a little bit more towards debt. So some months I do that, not every month, but I had some spending money still left over. So I actually took a little bit less this month. So 1.2%. And we did save that $25 there that I then allocated towards student loans. So gas is another one that's been pretty variable for us. So we only spent $43 this month. But my tank is like almost empty. So next month it might be like a tad bit higher just because, oh, and we did budget 100. Sorry, I was looking for my budget. So next month we probably will have one additional fill up. So we definitely probably should have filled up, but we didn't in time for the month to be over. So that was a savings of $57, and that is at 0.7. Also, I've noticed, I don't know about in your area, leave me a comment down below and let me know about your gas prices, but our gas prices have gone pretty high. I think they're like $2.50 right now, which is pretty high for us, at least lately. Next up, groceries. Budget was $500. I did set a goal for myself this month to spend less because I wanted to spend under $450 because we did spend quite a bit last month. So the difference for groceries was $62. So we had gone over quite a bit last month. So I thought I could challenge myself to use what's in our pantry and just kind of try and do like a mini pantry challenge in February. Obviously that did work out well because we only spent $438 on groceries. I like to do that every few months just to make sure we're not like hoarding food and missing things, because sometimes things can get missed in our pantry or our deep freezer, and I want to make sure we're using the food that we have. So MISC, I had a budget of 200 for MISC. We spent 120. Okay, we didn't actually spend 120 though. If you follow me on Instagram, I kind of had alluded to this. So basically, February was like a series of unfortunate events. I don't know if anyone else can relate if you guys had like a weird February, but a bunch of weird stuff happened to us in February. So we actually had our baby monitor go out. Our baby monitor broke. We still do enjoy having one of those for my daughter. She is 19 months and I'm just not comfortable with not having one in her room still. So we did repurchase that. That was like $100 because we got like a little bit of an upgraded one. And then my son's headphones broke, so that was another $20. And it just felt like we kept getting pounded with like these random home expenses. So I originally had them under MISC. We did spend $120 in other items, such as like some small Amazon purchases and just some random other home goods and stuff. I actually ended up taking that, I think it was like $145 or something that was additional to this $120, and I pulled it out of our home sinking fund, which I typically don't do that. I typically just cash flow it and just adjust our budget accordingly, but I just felt like that was the right thing to do in this situation. So we ended up pulling out like $145 from our home sinking fund and just paying for those. So I felt good about that. I did not want to adjust our budget down too much because I did want to get under my goal for debt repayment. So that was a decision that we made this month, and it felt like the right thing to do. So that's kind of my explanation, because that technically should have been higher, but we just decided to use those sinking funds. We do have a pretty good home sinking fund right now. Since we redid our floors, we did pull some money out for that, but we do still have a pretty good amount in there. So I felt okay with pulling some things out. So dining out for the month, our budget is $200. We actually stayed under, which I'm so happy about. $175 was our total. This is a really hard one for us, and I know I've talked to a lot of you guys that have the same problem. We love to eat out, and I don't like to cook, so those are not conducive to debt repayment. Anyways, that's definitely an area that we've been working on towards trying to stay under budget. Last month we did blow our budget quite a bit, so I'm happy that we were able to stay under our budget this month. Then the last few are our sinking funds and our debt. So I did kind of change things around here as well. If you go back to watch our February budget video, you'll see a couple of sinking funds that I actually don't have listed here because we decided against funding them. So we typically do fund a car insurance sinking fund, but we've actually decided that I think we're gonna try and cash flow that. So we pay our car insurance biannually, so every 6 months. And it's about like between $350 and $400. So that is something that we are at this point able to cash flow. So we're probably just going to be doing that. So I'm pretty much eliminating that category from our budget at this point. And then I think I had a couple of other sinking funds that I can't remember right now. But anyways, what we ended up funding, so I'm just going to put SF for sinking fund. So car, home, and Christmas are what we ended up funding. So if you're new here, we are saving up for a car. I think our balance right now is like $7,800 of what we have in savings currently, and our goal is $15,000. So I share about those updates on Instagram. If you're curious, go follow me over there and I'll do more updates on that. And I'll probably be bringing them into this video eventually as well. So we had initially planned to budget $250 for our car. We actually didn't end up sending any. So the reason is because we ended up getting our tax refund in February. So we got our federal and our state tax refunds. And normally, so last year what we did with our tax refund is we put it all towards debt. As much as I would have liked to do that this year, it just didn't feel like the right thing to do for us. So we actually ended up putting all of our tax refund into savings, and part of that went towards our car. So we actually just ended up putting zero in for our car this month because we did put that extra money in from that. So then this just got reallocated to debt. So in a way, I guess we kind of did pay like some of our tax refund to debt, but we just didn't feel like we needed this additional when we were putting in like more than $2,000 into the account in general. So this is actually zero. We did still fund though our home and our Christmas at $50 each. So we did still do that. So those were both 0.8%. And lastly, we have debt. So if you watched my debt video for this month, you'll know how much we paid towards debt. So we actually paid this month $3,375 towards debt, which is obviously a huge amount. And I'm so excited about the fact that we are still able to pay this much towards debt right now. So that is actually a percentage of our income of 52.92%. So I'm definitely happy as long as we can get close to that 50% mark. I try to every single month pay about half of our income because we do try to primarily, at least right now, during this pandemic, at least we have been trying to live on one income and pay the rest towards either debt or savings, depending on our goal at the time. So right now we're still primarily focused on debt repayment. So definitely happy about this number. So 3,375 towards debt. So then down here, I just do a small recap of exactly how much income we had and our expenses and the difference. So our total income was 6,377. Our total expenses for all of these items was 6,361. So we did actually have a difference of $16. So if we have like a huge difference at the end of the month, which usually isn't the case, but if we ever do, we do typically allocate that money towards debt or savings or a goal of ours or whatever it is at that point. But with a variance of like $16 and like last month, I think we had a variance of negative like 30, we just let that roll into our checking account buffer. So we do keep a checking account buffer. I really like to keep that around $500, but I think it's actually a little bit more right now. So that is that. So we are just going to leave that $16 towards our checking account buffer and not mess with it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched this entire video, I really appreciate it. I know it was very long, but I had a lot of explaining to do with our budget because I feel like our numbers were like kind of crazy off from what we had initially planned. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have not already, please subscribe. It really means a lot to me and helps out my channel, and I will talk to you later. Bye guys.